Okay, so this is a question that we get a lot of. What's the difference between Reflash or Remap and Unichip? So today I'm gonna talk about the differences and similarities that both of them have. Okay, first off, let's talk about Unichip. This is the Unichip. It's actual physical hardware where this wires in to the vehicle's wiring harness. Ang lumalabas is ito yung ECU ng kotse, ito yung Unichip, ito yung makina. So dito siya sa gitna. Ang trabaho nito is actually to alter the signals coming from the car, going to the ECU, and then from the ECU going back to the engine. So there's in, there's out. The reason why we use Unichip a lot is because there are some cars, actually most of the older cars, say 2003 and below, hindi pwede ma-reflash or ma-remap. Also, we use this for Toyota, the Toyota Vios, Toyota Corolla, new Fortuner, new Innova. All of these cannot be remapped. So Unichip's your only option. And then for people with rare cars, let's say a Photon na pickup, wala rin remap yun. So only Unichip will work. Basically, Unichip will work for any car, gas or diesel, as long as it has an ECU. Most likely, Unichip can be installed. One of the weirdest installs we've ever had with Unichip is actually Suzuki APV. And then we even have one, it's a Volvo wagon, I think a 1998 Volvo wagon. So no reflash and remap for those things, so only Unichip will work. That's why it's called Unichip, because it is universal after all. Now reflash and remap is mostly for any car 08 and up to be safe. So it's basically this one, OBD plug that sticks into the car, and then it's all software. There's no hardware involved. We reprogram the stock computer. This is mostly used now for most turbo diesels, Montero, Nissan Terra, D-Max, Trailblazer, Ranger, so on and so forth. Most Hondas can also be remapped from 2008 and up. Actually, 06 and up, Civic FD and up can be remapped. And Subarus, being 86s, can also be remapped. Mazda Sky Actives can also be remapped. So let's go to the software side. Here we'll start with Reflash. For Reflash, there's two kinds of software. One is called a reader-writer, which is something like this one. All this does is to read ECU data and to write ECU data. You don't do any editing here. The editing software looks like this. There you go. By the way, it's called remap because all of these things here, these are called maps. This is what a map looks like. As you can see, it's like an Excel sheet. This is RPM. This is for all intents and purposes load, amount of tapak. So this one is pressure. So the more tapak you have, the higher the pressure, which is sensed by the map sensor. And this is the data that we change. For this one, this particular thing, this is a fuel map. So these numbers here mean air-fuel ratio in terms of lambda, meaning 1 is stoichiometric, 14.7:1. Anything lower than 1 is richer, so meaning more fuel. So what we normally do when we remap is we take a bunch of this and then we change out the numbers. And then save the whole file, and then it gets loaded back to the ECU. Now, Unichip is also a form of remap because, as you can see here, the Unichip software also looks like an Excel sheet. There is RPM here and there is load here. The only difference between Unichip, our starting point is 0, 0. And then this is also the fuel. This is the fuel map here. So if we want to add fuel, what we do is put numbers in. Or if we want to subtract fuel, we can minus. So this will go on top of the data, the stock data here. So they're both remapping. It's just that Unichip needs additional hardware to remap, and remap reflash is just strictly software. So the most important question, which is better for your car? If your car is new, I would always suggest remap, because number one, it doesn't void warranty. Number two, it's undetectable by the dealer. And number three, we are not altering anything. No hardware, no splicing, no wires, no nothing. So remap is the option for newer cars, especially for turbo diesels. You'll get the best possible power, torque, and a lot of other things like better response, no more engine delay, higher boost, and all that. For what if you have an older car, say 2015 Fortuner, previous generation Fortuner, which should you get, remap or Unichip? If you plan to keep the car for the next 5 years, I suggest you get remap, because our remap price is 25,000. That's only 5,000 pesos per year. Sulit na yun. But if you're going to say, I just want to enjoy the car a little bit more, I'll sell it in 1 to 2 years, it's better to get Unichip, because when you do sell the car, pwede tanggalin to, pwede lipat to whatever next car that you plan to get, whether gas or diesel. New or old, you can reuse this one. And if you have, say, like I mentioned before, Corolla, Vios, you can't remap these cars. There's no choice. You really have to get Unichip. For older cars, let's say an old 2002 Civic, no remap for those cars, so it's still Unichip. Now, first generation Mazda Miatas, no remap for those, also Unichip. And then Toyota Avanza, also Unichip. Toyota Rush, also Unichip. So just to sum it up, Unichip is remapping with hardware. Remap and Reflash is strictly software. Which is better for your car depends on what you actually need and how long you will get the car for, and actually what car do you have. Some cars can only be tuned with Unichip. Some cars are better with Reflash. So it's basically up to you. Our Unichip price is 35,000, which includes the installation and the tuning. Reflash is 25,000, includes the dyno and the actual tuning itself.